chatbots are also known as the term, as you're probably hearing the buzzword, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a computer program designed to engage users with content. It poses a question, you answer it. It poses another one, you answer it. So it's like an automated system back and forth. But the benefit, it keeps the person engaged in your website or your Facebook business page when they're looking for those questions that you don't have time to answer. So that's the biggest benefit of it.
Welcome to the $1 Million Equation Podcast, a podcast about the easiest, fastest way to build $1 million business based on the best-selling book, The $1 Million Equation. If you love business, each episode reveals all of the core fundamental essentials for growth. Now, here's your host, Richelle Shaw.
Perfect. So, thank you everybody for listening, for watching, and allowing me to live my dream, because chatting with my besties about business stuff, it pretty much doesn't get any better than this. And today, I've got one of my perfect, my Mexico, let's go on vacation. You know, that's a real friend when you can go on vacation with
And not driving each other crazy, right?
And not driving each other crazy. My friend, Jennene Biggins. Yay! I love it. Thank you so much for spending the time with me.
Of course.
A really fun time together today, because you know what? I love that you love technology. And I love that you know technology, because then that gets me out of a whole bunch of jams, right? So I'm like, okay, what should I do here? She's like, oh, just use this. Oh, this one's even better. So today we're going to talk about getting more clients while you sleep. Yay!
Yes, we all want that, don't we?
Want more of that, messenger marketing that'll help landing new clients just a breeze. So before we jump into it, why don't you explain to everybody, not only that you my friend, because they already know that, but all of the lovely, lovely, amazing things about you that you do.
That I do. I'll start way back before Google. 1997, I started my first online business, the Voluptuous Woman Company, for us voluptuous women. Back then, no Google, no social media.
Nope.
Good old dial-up and Yahoo was back then, remember?
Yes.
Had an online store and kind of got into this whole online life because my web designer disappeared. And I had to figure it out myself. And realized the power of online marketing and reaching people from my computer all the way over to Holland and the Caribbean. And the funny thing is, I didn't have a product or service at the time. It was basically a community.
Yeah. And
through that, built my business, went into consulting, helping other businesses. And about 7 years ago, I got into mobile apps and text marketing. And recently have been involved in chatbots and video marketing.
Yes. So I know that you are an expert at SCORE. Those of you that don't know, when you need help in your local area, you go to a SCORE office to help with the business. But not that she's an expert there, like she does the marketing for SCORE. That's even better.
For one of the largest chapters, which is the DC chapter, Washington, D.C., that covers D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Wow.
I've been working with them for 5 years. It's been a blessing.
Wow. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Bring them into the news because, they're older gentlemen.
Little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And they're not very experienced in the digital marketing, online marketing area. So it's been quite interesting.
Quite interesting.
Right.
Well, I think, introduction of new things always is. There's some people who just embrace it, and others who just, fight it. And I think that's but the ones that I think are most overwhelmed are those that straddle. And one of the sessions that I recorded is one with my favorite organizer in the world, who was finding joy way before that the other chick on Netflix was, right? Yeah, and she talks about this struggle with integrating the new way, and not, you don't have to release everything from the old way, but that dance and making it so that it works for you. So, do you agree with that, or do you just recommend that everybody just go straight digital?
No, you have to work both, because nowadays people are having more advantages. They're going back to that direct mail. They like getting stuff in the mail now because they're tired of when they answer the phone. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this. You can't get a person.
Right.
So people are becoming frustrated. And then some people on the other side don't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
And that's when chatbots, known as artificial intelligence, really can help the business owner, especially when it's a solopreneur or someone that has limited staffing.
Sure. Well, I noticed that I was installing new equipment for my cable company, and I had a question, and it was so funny is that instantly they came up with text this number and it can help you through it, right? And I'm like, who does that? And then it hit me, and I said, I bet millennials do it all the time, because they don't want to talk to anybody.
No, they don't.
And I went, that's genius. That's really genius. It helps so that, I'm sure it drives down costs, or as you said, when you're a solopreneur, something can help them through it and not just go through the questions. One of the I've been giggling because the invitation to come and join me in the summit, I thought, was inclusive of any question that you could ask, right? Mm-hmm. And I pretty much answered it. So those that read it, I've had no challenge with.
That read it. That
read it. The ones that didn't read it, it's, hey, so what time? And 4th of July, and I'm like, you obviously didn't read this.
I had the same problem when I did the summit last year for the plus size virtual summit. They're like, well, I don't know if I'll be there. I'm like, it's a virtual summit. We record it in advance, and it just plays in March.
Right.
Oh.
Exactly.
No one reads.
No one reads. And I think that, it would have really helped me if I had any question, text here. Because I could have set up all of those answers of, you're not available? Oh, okay, great. Well, and that kind of, I'm jumping ahead. Let me go back and ask you, what is a chatbot? Because we may have some folks that are here that don't really understand how this works. What is a chatbot?
Well, chatbots are also known as the term, as you probably hear in the buzzword, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a computer program designed to engage users with content. It poses a question, you answer it. It poses another one, you answer it. So it's like an automated system, back and forth. But the benefit, it keeps the person engaged in your website or your Facebook business page when they're looking for those questions that you don't have time to answer. So that's the biggest benefit of it. So if you're a restaurant, and you probably always get asked, can I see a menu? What's your hours? Where are you located? Even though it's clearly probably listed on your website or on your Facebook business page, they don't read. They want to press that button.
People do not read, and they don't want to. They don't want to look. And now in the age of I want everything immediate. Even warming something up in the microwave, they're annoyed. Like, it takes too long. Like, they're like 3 minutes. Well, you remember back in the day when we didn't have one, right? You had to warm it up in the oven.
I'm going to take you back. Remember Jiffy Pop popcorn on the stove?
Yes! Where you do the...
You're shaking it.
And it seemed like that took forever. Remember when we're like, it's not working, and then it would explode? And you're like, oh my God, it's working! Yeah. You could hear it pop, and then it was pop, and then it was... Yes, I
exactly.
remember that.
So
Oh,
that's kind of where the chatbot comes into play.
yeah.
Because
No,
I don't care, even though your business may be a 9 to 5, 10 to 6, whatever, they think at 2 o'clock in the morning, if they find your business on your business page on Facebook and they pose a question or direct message you, that you should be there answering that question.
yeah. Yeah. And I can't believe it. I can't believe that you don't do it. And now, the internet is 24 hours and just different time zones. I mean, I had one person call me, like got the invitation, but called me, and they were on Eastern time. I'm on Pacific, and so it was like 5:30 in the morning. And I'm going, what is wrong with this person? But they wanted answers right now because that's the time that it's most convenient for them. So I think that so maybe this chatbot thing, it's more of something to be convenient for folks.
It's very convenient because it's giving them the immediate answers normally that they're asking. And you actually create, or my company can create the conversation. Welcome to, the $1 million equation. Are you a new business or existing business? They click new business. Then you have another. Are you looking for marketing work? Blah, 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 blah. They click. So they're constantly engaging and they're getting their questions asked. But they do know it's a bot. You do make that clear up front. But they're getting immediate satisfaction. And if you want to deliver a chapter of the book, a white page, a little video, you can do all of that with the assistance of a chatbot.
Perfect. Now, that sounds like, we're replacing an employee or me. So that sounds a little expensive. Is it expensive?
No. And the thing is, you're not could replace you. And you would have to pay for an employee to be sitting there on your Facebook business page, answering people whenever they decide to click that button to ask you a question. Now, you can start for free, actually. There's a service called ManyChat, ManyChat. You can start for free up to less than 500 subscribers. So that's like opt-in people.
Right.
And you can create, your chatbot system. They have training, and that's one I give a game. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And you get to start there. And I always tell people, go to your direct message on your Facebook business page and look at all the questions people are asking. And 9 times out of 10, they're your frequently asked questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So
between that and the crazies.
What do you say?
Between that and the crazies,
Yeah.
But you know what? I found this really wonderful thing in that I blocked different countries. Mm-hmm. And so now that racked it up, but I didn't know that. There's so many things that. And
it changes, it changes all the time. And the thing about it now, Facebook is constantly, changing. Everything is changing. They're trying to lessen the news feed. They want more content and conversation, things of that sort. You can even set the chat bot so if you put a post on the page and if people respond to it, it'll trigger the chat bot. And if you have it set up that way. So there's a lot you can do. If you're on a Facebook Live and you said, hey, if you want a copy of, of the MD ebook, just say yes in the chat. Just say yes below. If they do that, it'll trigger it and you can have that conversation started. So it's a lot you can do with it.
Oh, wow. So that was like my next question is, so how can I use it to generate leads? Because at the end of the day, right, we wanted to make money when we sleep. Warren Buffett said, if you don't figure out a way to make money in your sleep, then you will work until you die. So we love these, I don't want to work until I die. So tell me, how can I have it generate leads for my business? You gave me some really great examples right there.
Okay. So say they come to your Facebook business, your page, and they ask a question or whatever. You can qualify them with what they're looking for. So say you have 2 different books. One is, because you have several books that you've done, old and new. And basically you're asking them a question. You want to know what they're looking for, how you can help them. So
or if I want, are you a doctor or are you, not a doctor? Do you want the one for docs or not? Okay.
Exactly. So versus you having to figure it out via email and say, hey, do you want the Are you a doctor's office or are you just regular entrepreneur? They say doctor. You say, okay, the MD for doctors, the blah, blah, blah. Would you like to read a chapter? Yes, they click on it. They give them a little chapter. They can download it in a PDF. And then, of course, you will have it triggered in your funnel. So you can build those leads. You can even have an appointment. I have appointment booking in there, a link. They can trigger your Bookify, your Calendly, whatever. So you can do it that way as well. It's great if you're doing webinars because, as we know, and I'm sure you know, people sign up for webinars and they forget. Now you'll probably start seeing people say, do you want to be reminded in Messenger? Click here. So that way, even if they have the text, they may have a text reminder and a Messenger reminder. So come time for, and this is something that you would schedule for the webinar. Hey, we're starting in 5 minutes. Do you need a link? You can put the link back up there too. So it's almost like an automated attendant sitting there. So you're building the leads because you're qualifying what they need. If Sephora has a very extensive one, the makeup, theirs is, of course, custom made. You can go on there and lipstick and try it on and do all that and engage. And they'll say, hey, you like this? This is, red velvet 123. If you want to order it now, or you want to go in the store, that's building leads. And that's not someone sitting there doing it. All of it's pre-programmed.
Wow.
So that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you can be as just basic or as in-depth as you want to be, right?
Now that's Facebook. Now there also are chatbots or live chats for websites. So say they come to your website, you can have something pop up, and many of your viewers may have experienced that over in the kind of like the corner. How can I help you today? Or you can have a avatar chatbot come up that's moving. We can have it look like a Spanish woman, a black woman, a white woman, a doctor, a chef, and they kind of guide you through the website. In addition, there's a little chat. Say, how are you today? Give us your name. Person types in there, oh, great, Jennene. Would you like to sign up for our newsletter? Or, give us your email. They type it in. That can go right to your email campaign. So there's so many different ways you can do it. Yeah.
Wow.
And the thing about it is about 80% or more businesses do not use one right now. Because it's new. You know how businesses are with new. But the technology is awesome and it's not expensive.
No.
Yeah,
Well, even, as you're saying that, I'm like, well, geez, can I sell a product with it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sell a product. You can have them join your email list. You can have them connect with you via Calendly. And also with it, you can trigger it to if they want to actually talk to someone. So if the person has a business and they're all through these, prompts, and you get a copy of all of this, remember. So it's not like it's once they type in, it's not like Snapchat, it disappears. It's 24 hours.
Okay.
So you put it in, they say, would you like to speak with someone? If that's your option, click here, and you can actually put a phone number in. If they click, and of course, if they're on their phone in this instance, it will dial it. If you have staff there to answer the phone, keep that in mind.
Right. So don't have it,
Or you may say, do you want to call back? What's a good time to reach you? So that's great too. So there are lots and lots of options.
Yeah. I think that part of this is, there's so many options, and I think it's kind of like any other tool. One of the challenges with Kartra or ClickFunnels or Infusionsoft back in the day, that's now Keep, or Samcart, or with Facebook or Facebook ads or whatever, it's never the tool, right? It's always the strategy. And so that's where the overwhelm comes, because there's so much, okay, well, gosh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And then, for me, because I just go down the rabbit hole and I stay down the rabbit hole forever, because, now I'm just in this going, and then I can do, and then I can do. And then,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking, for that reason, because it can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do is to do one thing, build the lead, and actually walk them through a simple chatbot, setting it up to build the lead.
Got it.
solving one problem and just start there. Because what's going to happen, you're totally right. They're going to get overwhelmed because it's so much.
I
So
mean,
let's start with
just you saying it is like, I'm like, ooh, okay, and I can add this in, ooh, and I'm trying to take notes while you're saying it, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that, but I can also see where I can screw this up because I'll be too down deep, and then I won't focus on the other stuff because ooh, it's a new toy, shiny object,
right.
You know?
And that's exactly why we decided to. Okay, I was thinking like, let me just do one simple thing, helping them build their list, their email list, and that one thing, and that's what the video will take them through. How to just do that, just start there. I think once they do that and they start seeing it, then you can add on all the other stuff.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, just the you're doing a live, so many people do lives that lead to nothing. They're just hoping that, after I finish this live that you will like me and that you will press this link that's here, but they got to find the link, especially, if it's, well, I don't think you can do it on Instagram yet. Can you? Do they have a chatbot on Instagram?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Because that's the bigger challenge is, on Instagram is they've got to find the link. Okay, then I need to update it every time I change it, which I know.
You mentioned that. So we'll give a little tidbit to your viewers.
Yeah.
You can get what they call a link tree. It's free. Basically, it extends the link of your Instagram. So we all know the only thing that's clickable on Instagram as far as web addresses is your bio. So you'll have to say click the link in the bio. Well, now Linktree, and it's linktr.ee. It's free, and there's several different ones. If you go and I think they're called Instagram shorteners or whatever. You can actually create a little menu. So when you say click the link in the bio, it's handled by third-party software. Real simple. You sign up with your Instagram. You don't have to install anything. You just go right onto the web, and you can create your tree. So you would visit the MDE website, join our list, buy the book, or get on the wait list for the book, or come to the event. You can it's like a little mini menu. Therefore, you would never have to go in there, I should say, and copy, change your link every time you're doing a promotion.
Yeah, because that's crazy.
That.
Yeah, that's an awesome tip for Instagram. But I love the chatbots and so your recommendation is just to start it, to set up one, to get a lead, right? So to get a lead we need to give them a link to go to an opt-in. Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, so let's talk about the Facebook business page.
Okay.
We just set up the simple one, which is a simple greeting. When they click, do you know the little emblem underneath the picture? It looks like a circle, and it's like a little lightning bolt.
Yes.
That's Messenger.
Okay.
If you click on that, what will happen is, if they have a chatbot installed, which most people won't, it'll do nothing. It'll just let you send a message. But if we set up a chatbot for you, like, hey, welcome to the $1 Million Equation. Right. You can give a little bit about your information. How can I help you today? Are you a new business owner, entrepreneur? Are you interested in purchasing the book or reading a chapter? Yes. Okay. You can just pop it up and say, hey, would you like your free book? Of course they're going to say yes. So what do? You say, here, click here, and that takes them in your funnel to pay the shipping and handling or whatever, and bam, there's your lead. If you don't have a product, you can do that and say, hey, would you like more information on whatever the product service is? Click here and put your email, and we'll be sure to send you the information. That's your lead.
Got it.
Bam, right there.
Got it.
Two steps. Yeah. Real simple.
Thank you so much for listening to my passion project and the $1 Million Equation podcast. Love what you're hearing? If you like it, I love it. So click the subscribe button to get each week your new favorite episode.
So when are there multiple, so how do you do it on your website? Is it the same one, the ManyChat on your website?
You can use the ManyChat on your website. They have widgets, as they call them. And they're real simple. Some widgets will be on the top of your website. Some is what we call like a slide in. And the same thing, you just say, hey, would you like to get our 7 steps to blah, blah, blah? Click here and you get it in Messenger. It'll just go to Messenger and opt in for that one, for ManyChat. Now, we have a service where we do a separate, what we call avatar chatbot. That's a service that we provide, and that's outside of the ManyChat. But to start off, I would say go there unless you're ready to, go more extensive.
Yeah, to have it do multiple things. Well, so, tell me about, the one thing about this is that I don't just like to just bombard everybody just with info. I like to get really, really into, who you are and what you've overcome, and especially since 1997, your first website, which that's mine. I'm like, look, I've been an entrepreneur. I had one job, so I've owned a business forever,
right?
And had lots of failures, lots of successes, lots of struggles, lots of stuff. So tell me what's one of like your biggest failures that you just went, oh shit, okay, I'm not doing that again. What's one of those?
Actually, that's a good question. Let me see which failure I should pick.
Right. Well, see, if you have multiple, that means that you try lots of things, and when you try lots of things, then you end up winning lots of things. So I love that you have multiple failures.
Actually, when I first started the Voluptuous Woman Company, the idea behind it was to be, if you remember back in the day, do you remember African American women on tour? And they went to different states. Mobil was one of their, Mobil Gas and Exxon was one of their sponsors. Basically, it was a day, 2 or 3 days full of a lot of workshops for women, and they would go, there was a shopping, etc. I wanted to do that for the plus size industry, these big ideas. It didn't happen that way because, I didn't know about sponsorship and all of that. So I ended up flipping it a little bit and just doing a fashion show initially. And then, really had to give away seats to get people there because remember back then we didn't have social media. No. So you're building your business like the good old fashioned way.
Right.
Where
you had to spend some money. I love this. Is that there's so many folks who don't spend any money.
I never forget sitting on the floor. I spent money to exhibit at for Sisters Only, big radio station here in DC. I think it cost me like $500 for 2 days. Remember, I didn't have a product, so I wasn't selling anything, so it wasn't like I could recoup.
Right.
But I was like, okay, I did it to build my list because again, we didn't have social media.
No.
And so I got about almost 400 women on my list from signing up, and they just liked what I was doing, the conversation. And I remember sitting in my floor, you're going to laugh at this, remember Front Page? Microsoft Front Page, where you can kind of do newsletters?
Yes.
I did a newsletter on that, and I'm sitting in my floor with my husband at the time, folding newsletters and mailing them.
Of course. Of course. Well, my kid is here now because we spend a lot of time together. And there is, I tell the story all the time that she helped fold and stuff envelopes for years. And how I got her to do them was I told her that they were stickers. And so she put the stickers on, right? And so some would have 3 and I'd be like, no, just one, because that's money. And then she'd put them on her forehead and her fingers, and she'd walk around with these stickers that I'm like, no, those aren't stickers, that's money, that's, because I would get creative stamps, right? Because you want somebody to open it with creative stamps. And that's what I think is one of the things that's lost. And I hate to be that older person, because I hated them, when I was up and coming, right? And I don't want to hear, well, in the old days, this is how we had to do it. Nobody wants to hear that. But but the fundamentals don't change. And so success, comes from making an investment, and it is never free. It is never free. And so this whole time
is, you can't get time back.
No.
You can't get time back.
No. And this way of automation is really great, but I think you have to couple it, as you said earlier, with, real touching, real feeling, real direct mail. I mean, the one of my favorites, an actual Russell Brunson used to say this too, who is an online genius, right? With the founder of ClickFunnels. But he used to say, the fastest, the number one thing I would do, or Ryan Deiss actually said it, I think it was. And he told me, you have to, as soon as you get them online, get them offline. So you have to figure out a way to take them from this online space back offline so that you can communicate with them. So whether it is you get a phone number, a direct mail address, or bring them to an event. And if you're not doing those three, it's going to slow down the process to you getting money. Because as long as they stay in this online world, it's almost imaginary for them. It's almost like, it's automated. That's why I would get crazies that would come to my private messenger, and thinking, because it doesn't seem real. They don't think that they're actually going to talk to me. It's just, and they post stuff just to shock me, not to really engage with me. So I love hearing these stories of how you folded them in the living room and putting them in which is a significant investment into your business and financial freedom, which is what this theme is all about, is about making a significant investment. You've got to make an investment and a commitment. And without that,
because I was telling you, I didn't have a product or service, and I decided in 2000 to do this weekend conference. It was called Diamond in the Rough. It was over 3 days. We actually had 100 women there over the 3 days. But I had to put that event, that was back in 2000. That event cost me $18,000. That was a tag on that. They paid for whatever, but I didn't profit yet from that because, but it was an experience, but seeing it come together. And the funny part was, I think the person that commentated the fashion show said, "We'll see you next year." And she said the look I gave her. I was like, "Oh no, we won't." No, we won't.
Not like this.
And I was carrying clothing at time because people after that they're like, "Well, what kind of clothing do you have?" So I'm like, "Okay, let's go to Vegas and go to the magic show."
Yep.
And I tried to go in February, and it was a snowstorm here in the Washington D.C. area, and I was at the airport for 3 days and I couldn't get out. So I was like, okay. So then I flipped it and then found out there was another show, a buying show in New York, which is only 4 hours away, and I could drive. And that's what I said, okay, let's go to that first. But I started carrying the clothing, certain things, not everything,
Right.
The thing is, I know women, plus size women, could not find nice suits. That was a problem. And like nice, funky casual wear. That's kind of the two things we carried. And foundation. Those are the three. So I wasn't selling T-shirts. Nothing wrong with it, but I didn't want what everybody else was doing.
Right. Well, that's how you set yourself apart, right? That's why I think that you've been in this game in one way or another, 30 years now, because you know how to set yourself. I know it's hard to say out loud, but now I'm just, accepting it. I've been doing this 30 years, right? But I thought the other day that, I wrote my first radio commercial at 19.
Wow.
19.
But remember, I found I don't know what it was, but I found your book. That's how I first found out about you back then. I must have been researching something online. I was like, oh, and she's a plus size woman. Telephone company, yeah.
Crazy.
And that was years ago.
Yeah.
I remember because you had the top was a flowered top or something.
Yep.
It's white base. Yep.
Yep.
I remember that picture. I found you online or something. Somehow I found you.
Yeah. That was a cute. I wish I could find that top again, because the bottom was
Cinched?
not seersucker, but what's that stretchy material that kind of comes in? It's not.
Like
it was kind of elastic, but it wasn't really spandex, but it was
lycra-ish.
Yeah, lycra-ish, right?
Blend.
And so the bottom was black, and it came in, so it gave me a waist, and then the top was kind of fly. It was a cute top, and I think I wore it out. So
I remember that.
It's gone. It's gone. It was a great top, and it photographed really well.
Yeah, and that's before we ever met in person. I was like, you know, I was like, and I'm like, and she's pretty, she's plus size, and she is successful. Okay, I was like,
it's like she looks like me.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that's why, that the work that you were doing then, I mean, not that the work that you're doing now is not great. It is.
Right.
But the work that you were doing then was so important, and that's part of this thing of why I decided to come out of retirement and kind of get back into the online world, because I've been like, you know what, this is, because it was a funky, dirty place, and the internet is full of liars and schemers. I don't care. And people who only want to do this because of what they can get out of it. And that's not why I did this.
About their success. I mean, I have a friend. She's bought several courses or whatever from these gurus, and then when you find out they really didn't make that kind of money. There's one. She goes around talking about, I'll teach you how to, the term, that lovely 6-figure term. And I know for a fact that she's not making 6 figures herself, but she's touting her speaking and her program that she is. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I can understand, after a while you're like, shut down.
Right. Which is why I got out of coaching too, because, they all thought they were on the same level as me. And I go, that's who you chose? I did that in like the 3rd grade, but go ahead. You know what I mean? I was taking it too personally. And I just was all caught up. So, at the end of the day, I came back because I want folks who look like me to believe that you can be me. Because it's the thing, and that's what what you were doing was so important, and why I think we really connected. And you're my birthday twin, so there's so many things that are just right there in there.
It's bulls.
Yeah, the biggest, so much love. There it is. But
we are determined.
From getting to the process and understanding that failure is just a stepping point, and being, just the fact that you invested the 18 grand. There's so many people that would, 18,000, they don't want to invest $18.
I was not making it like that in 2000, okay? That was,
right.
I wasn't making it like, and like I said, it wasn't like, nowadays you can just put something online and sell it. Oh, no, not at all.
No. Well, what? They're not, though. That was the best thing that finally made me feel better, is to realize that no, they're not just putting it online and selling it. Because if you don't know how to drive traffic, they're not getting to your website.
No.
So and at the core, at the core of it, that's what I said. What I have to offer is, the $1 million equation really is a foundation of selling anything, anywhere, on any media.
Right.
Period. And if you don't get there, it's because, or if you don't like that, it's because you're trying to jump ahead and start with the media instead of starting with the message and the market. Period. So I let them now. I've gotten over it. I got to where too, at the end of the day, I make way more money doing these things in my own business than I do selling it to other folks. So it's just now I'm like, ooh, watch me, ooh, watch me. Ooh, yeah. And just kind of relaxed and got rid of all that foolishness, because it just didn't make sense.
Hey, 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 MDE Nation. Have you grabbed the original, the OG book, the book that started it all? The book, The $1 Million Equation. That was my original passion project where everybody kept asking me, Richelle, tell me how you rebuilt back your $1 million business. How in the world did you come back from losing it all? How in the world did you do it? And I sat and I spent 2 weeks and I wrote The $1 Million Equation. So it sounds exactly how I talk. If you put my voice to it while you're reading it, you will feel the essence of me. But you will also learn some really great, valuable lessons on how to build your own $1 million business. Yep, you can grab it right there on Amazon.
So, I love to ask the question, tell me about your favorite client ever. Because it always, the person, I want you to think about the person, not the ideal client, because that, oh well.
Yeah.
But your favorite one, the one that really makes you smile. Who is that? You don't have to name them, but tell me what are their attributes? Because I know that people watching go, look, I need help with chatbots. I want to do that. But I know that you've been very lucky and you can pick and choose your clients. So maybe the favorite one is out there. So what are they? What are their attributes?
Willing to be open to my recommendations. Because there's nothing worse than you trying to work with someone and you have the discovery call, you find out what they need, and then you're like, okay, we need to do X, Y, Z, and they're fighting you the whole way. And we're not going to get anywhere. So this person, they didn't have a website yet. They were new. So he's a personal trainer. And I didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. Because, a lot of times on discovery calls, you're like, well, here's the price. And unfortunately, I don't have any faith that, because a lot of people don't think you're worth what you're charging.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, we did that earlier. I was just saying, right. And it's you're not paying me for the 30 minutes it takes me to do it. You're paying me for the 30 years that I've been doing it.
Right.
Because now it only takes me 30 minutes. Yeah.
He was open, and that was the biggest thing. And what I recommended, found him a website person. He did, the shell. We met, and we kind of went through it, and I gave my recommendations. He's like, okay, cool, thanks. I'll take them. When I said we need, some content, blog, whatever, for your chatbot, he's like, okay. He was just open. Yeah. And it's successful to this day. His website got up in a timely fashion.
Right.
His chatbot is now generating leads because he's a personal trainer. But I'm like, okay, you can only train people, but so many at a time. I said, we need to expand it. I said, we need a virtual guide. Because I'm thinking of myself as a consumer. When I go to the gym, whenever. But the fun thing is, especially as a larger woman, I don't want to seem out of place, like I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I can create a virtual guide that I can take that can say, okay, these are things you should do, warm up. And he's like, oh, I never thought about that. I was like, okay, you can sell it.
Right.
And he did. Yeah. He sold it. He's selling it. A virtual guide when you go to the gym.
Oh, I love
and
that.
Then his consulting on the back end, he'll create the plan for you. I was like, because you can only train but so many people at one time. And he's only concentrated in a particular area in Maryland. So he's not all over the place. He's like, I just want to focus on this county, which is a very good county, but this county.
Yeah.
But that's what we did. So I like thinking of different things, and I love giving the recommendations. I just need you to take me seriously. And if not, I'm not going to keep driving it, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm too old now.
Part of when folks ask me, or they don't think that they're ready for me, because I get a lot of people who self-select and go, oh, I don't have $1 million business, so I'm not ready. And I'm like, they'll say, well, do you think every business can be $1 million business? I go, yeah. They go, no, really? Yeah. I said, some of it is just changing your business model. Well, you can't personally, so what? If it's 10 clients you can take, then you need to charge them $100,000 a year. Okay. Not that you can't, but I don't know many people who not that they can't pay you, but are willing to invest $100,000 in themselves for a year. Maybe 1 year, but you're not going to get it. Unless you are sleeping at my house and doing other things. So, right. So it's always changing the model exactly like you change that. I absolutely love it.
And I guess I think of what things, like you said, can make you money in your sleep.
Yeah.
And I had a very good, when I had the online clothing, I never forget, and that's when it was like clean. I woke up one morning and I had a $900 sale in my cart. I'm like, is that right? They bought these 3 beautiful, we used to carry these knits from Poland, and they were sets, and they were like $300 each. And I still have some to this day for myself. And when I woke up and saw that sale, I was like, oh, okay, this is working.
Right, you get your glasses, right? You're like, is that where's the decimal point? Yeah.
I shipped that sucker out immediately. Okay. Went to UPS, like I need this to get there, Yeah. And that's one of like the power of making money while you sleep.
Sure. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it all. And I know, because not only are we friends, but like I said, this has been my dream. I get to talk to my friends, talk about marketing all day, talk about business, and laugh and giggle. I can do this for absolute hours. I know that you had a free thing that you wanted to make sure that folks who wanted to start in Chatbot, I don't have it in front of me. Can you just tell them a little bit about it? Below, we're going to have the link and everything, but in case you're seeing this somewhere other than us together, can you just tell us about it?
So it's a 20 video series. It tells you how to start with ManyChat, setting it up, to all the different things you can do, because there's a lot of different things you can do. There are flows and all these other things. It's free for them, for everyone who's watching this, and that way they can view it. They can open their ManyChat account, and then they can look at it 1,000 times if they have to get it right.
There you
That's
go.
one thing we're giving away. Yeah.
What a nice gift.
Because I think video is important, because I've watched things over and over again. Don't laugh, but I'm a webinar whore. And when I speak at my workshops that I do for Score Sometimes, I say that and people laugh. I'm like, I have learned, that's how I got into mobile apps. It was a webinar. That's how I got into text marketing.
Yeah.
This chatbot thing, look, what's that? I'm always on a webinar. Now, granted, they're going to sell you something at the end, yes.
Right.
But they give you a lot of content if you pay attention.
That's right. That's right. Well, I giggle when people don't want to give out their email address, and I'm like, why? Well, because
what you've done over the years, you the different challenges you have, and I'm like, she's not even asking you to buy; she's offering it if you want. But if you just do the challenge and implement a small percentage of what she tells you, you can do it, and then you can pay her if you want her to consult. But people don't realize that. They don't.
No. Well, they're just shut down. They're like, oh my gosh, because they have to finally take responsibility and make a decision. They don't like making decisions. Which is why only 3% actually succeed in the world. And part of that is dedication, commitment, discipline. They don't have it. Like, if you don't have enough discipline to unsubscribe or not open an email that somebody sends you, then how are you going to build $1 million business? So when people tell me that, I know that something's wrong with it. Oh no, well, I don't want to get on that list. I'm like, do you know how many coupons I get because I'm on everybody's list and I know my shopping days? And if I don't have any money, I don't shop. What is wrong with you? You can't say no? Like, I just don't understand it. And I just giggle and I go, because I'm different. But I'm different. And what has ultimately made me successful is that I'm an implementer, number one, but I also take chances and take risks. And so when you take those chances and risks, you fail a lot. And I'm okay with failure. I'm okay with it. I'm like, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. Hell yeah, it hurts. But then I go, all right, how do we get?
And sometimes you have to, and what I just recently, you have to change what you were doing, and then, because that's kind of where I am in my business right now. We're just focusing on 2 things: That's it. And I had to sit back and change that because I got burned sometimes in consulting.
Yep.
And I'm a giver, and I give sometimes too much.
Yep.
And not get, financially back. And I had a business that kind of screwed me over. And I had to like break down what I did for her. And it turned out to be like a 32-page PowerPoint. I mean, I was so mad. I had screenshots of what I did, what was in scope, what was out of scope, 32 pages. I'm like, and you said I didn't do what?
Well. So let's chat about that just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Only because, and this is obviously going longer than I had planned, but I think this is important. Is one of the things that I finally noticed and why I got out of private clients, in that now I don't do that. I can become your partner. We can do this together, and I will take a percentage, okay? But I'm not doing anywhere you just pay me to do the work, because when they do it, they transfer responsibility. All of a sudden, they have no responsibility. They, if I was supposed to make your phone ring, so I have one that we have an online application. So every day I see there's 3 to 5 online applications. Oh, well, they're not turning into clients. No. They said 10, 10, 10, 10, because I asked the question on the application. Are they ready? Are they able? So the challenge is not that I brought these folks to you. The challenge is you're unable to close them.
Yes.
So are you ready to take responsibility for that? Would you like for me to teach you and train you how to close sales? Now that's not included. See, I assumed that you knew how to do this. But they instantly feel like as soon as they pay me that they no longer have to run the business. But I don't own it. So if I don't own it, then we can't do it. And it would send me over, right? Which is why, once again, I just went dark. I'm like, why am I doing? I'm going to run my own business. I mean, I'm not going to do this with you. You've got to be kidding me.
And I had to learn to say no,
Yeah.
which is hard for me. And just shut down. That's personal as well as business. Nope, I can't do it.
Right? Well, how you are and everything is how you are. So if you got a dirty car, you got a dirty house. I don't care what you can't tell me that you don't. Right?
Right.
If you got a messy desk, you got other things are messy too. It's never just in one place. And if you are chronically late to personal appointments, you're late to the dentist, you're late to business, you show up to work late. Absolutely. I understand once or, one, but if you do it all the time here, I always get to church on time. Now that's a lie. That's not true. Because how you are in everything is how you are in everything. So I just don't get that. Well, what's the one thing that folks need to do to crush the rest of 2019? Now, it doesn't matter when you hear this, when because of course the internet lives on forever. So,
right.
So let's just say really crushing their business. What's the one thing that they need to do?
Consistency. They have to be consistent. And I'll be transparent. I have not been. And I believe that's why business is not farther than I thought it would, than it should be. I should say, not that I thought it would be.
Okay, I think you should stop saying that, because that's just you being hard on yourself. We are overachievers, right? And so when we are overachievers, we have a tendency to be hard. So stop it.
But it's consistency. I don't care, whatever it is, consistent. And that goes from weight loss to, your life. If you're not consistently doing something towards your goal, you're not going to make it.
Yep. Which is why automation and chatbots are important.
Yes.
Because once you set it up, then they go automatically. You don't have to touch it.
But like you said, you can set it up and give them the information, but you need to close them or communicate with them once they go through that automation.
Yeah.
Send them that note. Say, hey, I noticed you did X, Y, Z. And you may have to get that funnel software or that trigger where it tags and you're not doing it. Oh, they're on my list now. I need to take one of this. Get an automation system. There's so many out there that range from cheap to expensive.
Right. That all work.
Yeah.
Well,
so
this was fantastic. Of course, as I always just, This is now a new dream job. This is it. This is all I'm doing for the rest of my life now. Because this is super fun. I am absolutely grateful. Thank you so much
for inviting me.
You are just amazing. And down below, you'll see the links to all the things that we're going to do. Thanks, Gigi.